For joining me. Let me say a few words about an issue that I know millions of Americans are deeply concerned about, and that is the horrible situation in Gaza today. As many of you know, the Netanyahu government of Israel has killed more than 50,000 people in Gaza in the last year and a half since the war began, and wounded over 112,000. 2 weeks ago, as you may know, the Netanyahu government broke the ceasefire, endangering the lives of the remaining hostages. And in those 2 weeks, just the last 2 weeks, they have killed 320 children and wounded more than 600 other kids. Further, as you know, the Netanyahu government has virtually destroyed the entire infrastructure of Gaza, decimated it. Over 90% of the housing has been damaged or destroyed. Hundreds of schools have been bombed. Every university has been bombed. The entire healthcare system has been virtually annihilated. Water systems and wastewater plants have been destroyed. And on top of all of that destruction, over the last several weeks, Netanyahu has ordered a total blockade. And you know what that means? It means that over the last 30 days, there has been absolutely no humanitarian aid getting into Gaza, no food, no water, no medicine, no fuel, and that is for an entire month. This is barbaric. So let us be clear. The United States must end our complicity in these atrocities. We cannot be part of this any longer. And that is why tomorrow I will be forcing votes in the Senate on 2 joint resolutions of disapproval that I have introduced, which will block almost $9 billion in U.S. arms sales to Netanyahu. These resolutions would stop the sale of more than 40,000 bombs, including tens of thousands of massive 2,000-pound bombs that can level an entire city block. That's how powerful these bombs are. As many of you know, I strongly opposed President Biden's blank check military aid to Israel, and I am equally opposed to what President Trump is doing. And let me just mention something to you that's almost hard to believe, and that is, as bad and horrific as all of this killing and destruction has been, there is something that is happening or could happen that is even worse. In recent months, President Trump and Israeli officials have openly talked about forcibly expelling all of the 2.2 million people from Gaza to make way for what Trump calls a Riviera, some billionaire's playground. So think about that. Imagine that. After all of the suffering that the men, women, and children in Gaza have experienced, Trump and Netanyahu are now contemplating forcing millions of people from their homeland in order to create a playground for the rich. And by the way, as I'm sure you know, there is a term for that, and that term is called ethnic cleansing, and it is a war crime. Let me conclude by mentioning something that I think most of you already know, and that is that we have a corrupt campaign finance system in which billionaires are able to spend unlimited amounts of money through their super PACs to buy and sell politicians and influence legislation. Elon Musk has threatened any Republican who might vote his or her conscience with a well-funded primary opponent. You vote against me? Hey, guess what? We have unlimited amounts of money. We're prepared to defeat you in the next election. And AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, has done the same. If you vote, if a member of Congress votes against military aid to Netanyahu, AIPAC is prepared to spend millions of dollars to defeat that member of Congress. And by the way, this is not just idle chatter. That is what they did last year to two very capable members of Congress who had the courage to vote against military aid to Netanyahu. AIPAC spent a whole lot of money, and those candidates, those members of Congress, were defeated. And all of that, amazingly enough, takes place at a time when the American people, ordinary Americans all over this country, do not want to send billions and billions more money, more dollars to Israel. In fact, according to a recent Economist YouGov poll, just 15% of Americans think we should be increasing military aid to Israel. And among people who affiliate with the Democratic Party, the number of people who support Netanyahu is much lower than that. So, let us go forward together in doing what is morally right and, in fact, what the American people want. And that is no more military aid to the Netanyahu government to continue their barbaric war against the Palestinian people. Thank you all very much. See you soon.